Hey everybody, it's the Financial Reboot Investment Team. It's November 9th, Thursday, and this is the live show. Let's get started. It was a pretty ugly day in the market today. You know, the Dow finished down about 100 points. The S&P was down 10 points. The Nasdaq was down 40 points. Pretty much about 0.5% across the board. The Russell was down another 0.5%. The VIX got a little action today. You know, we've been talking about that. Make sure you keep your insurance in your portfolio. We like the VIX calls. There's other ways you can do it. UVXY. Uh, I think it's SXVY. You know, there's a lot of stuff you can use. Just Google it, or you can always sign up with us, and we'll specifically tell you what you. That was a little shameless plug, but the VIX was as high. It was over 12. I think it was about 1250 today. You know, and that thing could have just exploded. What happened was um, the Trump tax plan. There might be a problem with the corporate tax reduction, and they're talking about pushing it on to 2019, and that really hit the market. And you can see it. Let's look at a spider chart. This is the S&P 500 for today. You can see we started off with a big old red bar, and then we started to recover, and then that news about the taxes came out and it just cratered the market. It got really, really ugly. You can see, but you see, there's your buy the dip. Look at that. A lot of green volume bars, a lot of good action, close towards the high. It's a very good day in the recovery sense. You know, of course, it got ugly here. But again, that's what we tell you with this Trump tax reform. It's like we've been saying for the past few days, be careful. Don't bite into the knee jerk and stuff because we've got a version in the House, we've got a version in the Senate, and then they're going to both bring their versions out back, and then they're going to beat each other up, and they're going to fight over it, and then they're going to put something on the president's desk. Hopefully, that final product is something that benefits all Americans, you and I, and every American. We'll see. But right now, in that during that fight, you know, it's like a long fight. You don't want to live and die on each round. Sometimes one side's going to get a good shot in, the other side's going to get a good shot in. That's what happened today. You know, that news came in, sold down, and then it just kind of pushed back up. You know, if you had panicked and you sold here, you really regretted it because we just ended up where we started. Actually, we ended up higher than we started, which is bullish. So, like we said, you know, just be careful with the news cycle. Let's look at the rest of the news cycle today. Actually, though, this plays into gold. When this happened, gold really spiked. Besides all the global economic things that are going on, the global uh, uh, economies and the global situations right now, gold's been acting very well, and it got a little boost from that Trump thing. You see right there. But this is a weak chart of gold. This is a 7-day chart, and you can see we had that sell down back here. We've been talking about we're long gold. We talked about it here. What we really wanted to see was it take back to 1275 and hold it, and then we felt it would make a move towards 1300. Well, this is the bar that it took back to 1275. It easily held it, and now it looks like it's making that move to 1300. So far, we're right. Uh, will we end up right in the long run? We'll see. We're still long gold, and we're just analyzing the position day to day. The options expire on the 17th, which is next Friday. So we don't want to make any mistakes right now. There's not a lot of room for error. At this point, if we don't see a reasonable charge towards that 1300, which will turn these options absolutely profitable, we'll just cut our losses. You know, we don't want a little loss to come into a wash, which means you lose everything. That's the danger of options is you can lose your whole investment. So always be careful with options. If you're not sure, sign up with us. Bitcoin had a little struggles today. This is a 1-day chart of Bitcoin. You can see we had that whole fork thing yesterday where it blew up to about 78, 7,900. It's come down here. It looks like it's taking new levels down. You can see it was holding this level here and then a big red bar. Now it's kind of playing at this level. Let's see what happens whether it gets another red bar. There's not a lot of catalysts in Bitcoin right now. So, look, if you're a long-term Bitcoin player, then just ignore these fluctuations. Like if you bought a year ago, you're obviously way up. You see how it fluctuates. Just what was it, a week or two ago, it went down almost 1,000 points. Then it went up 1,500, 2,000 points. So if you're a long-term player, just, just play it very orderly and very intelligently. If you're planning to hold it for 5, 10 years, why would you worry about this? Just imagine if you bought it when it was 500, and when it was doing all that stuff up to 7,000, if every time it came down or every time it pulled back, you panicked and you sold, you would have left maybe about $4 or $5,000 per coin on the table. So be smart about Bitcoin players. And then next week, we will have big news about Bitcoin. Financial Reboot is going to start playing Bitcoin, so we'll start doing deeper analysis like we do with the stocks. Right now in the stocks, look, we had a good day today. It was blood red day, but we had a really good day today. If you didn't have a good day, then you know who to call. We cashed in our snap today. We cashed it in at about 40%. Yesterday we cashed in XLU. I believe that was like 60, 70%. But our last four trades that we've cashed in, and we've talked about them live on the show, we're not the types to, after NVIDIA goes up 20 points, say, yeah, we bought it 20 points ago. We tell you when we're buying, and we take our lumps like big boys and girls when we don't succeed. But so far we've been hot, right? We've hit the cycle, really. We had a 40% winner, we had a 50% winner, we had a 60% winner, and we had a 70% winner in the last 4 days. So yeah, if you guys are following along, good for you guys. What we are in right now is, let me just check my notes because it's been a busy day. I don't want to give you any wrong information. We're still long in Coke. We're at those $47 calls. Those expire soon, about a week. So we're kind of keeping an eye on Coke, but it's bubbling around that 46.20 area. One quick move, and those will be profitable, just like gold. We'll keep an eye on them. We'll analyze them day to day. Um, if it starts to look shaky, we'll cash it in. We'll take a small loss on it. Better to take a small loss and just swallow your pride. Take a small loss. Don't let arrogance get your emotions and arrogance get a hold of you, and just take the small loss and move on to the next trade, rather than letting it wash and you lose everything. Okay. So Bitcoin, be cautious at this level. Looks like we're setting new lower levels. So you want to be careful right now. Like we said, keep watching the live show. Next week, we're actually going to play Bitcoin. We'll tell you where we enter and where we exit. We cashed out the XLU position yesterday, but the play we've been talking about for a while, XLP, um, we still are in that. We're long XLP into January. Uh, Trade we haven't been talking about because we bought it before we started doing the live show is Target. We're long Target at about $65. Target had a good day today. It was up about a buck and a half, 1 point almost $2. We cashed in the snap puts. That was just a short two-day play for 40%. How easy is that? And we're long gold, of course, and XLP, gold, Coca-Cola. Yeah, so most of the other ones we've cleared out at nice profits right now. So we're just gonna. Oh, and Cisco too. Cisco had a rough day today, but we were waiting on the Nvidia earnings, and Cisco has earnings on the 15th next week. So we'll see. We'll see. We're gonna ride those a little closer to earnings. The market kind of pulled down Cisco today. Let's see if the Nvidia hit helps pull up the sector and just the internet stocks in general. So we're still long on Cisco. We're still long XLP. Uh, and we're long Target and Coke. So those are the plays we're into right now, if you're following along. So let's just real quickly check the news cycle. It's Thursday. We want to get to Friday so we can get to the weekend. It's Veterans Day weekend coming up this weekend. Veterans Day on, I believe, Saturday. If you know any veterans, any military guys, show them a little love, a little appreciation, because what they do is so critical and it's so selfless. So be sure to thank a veteran. They're just amazing people. You see, Disney missed after hours. They're still trying to compete with Netflix. Good luck with that. We're going to price our streaming service substantially below Netflix. What does that tell you? They're going to lose money on it, right? Okay, they're going to cut off their nose to spite their face. They're going to try and steal the Netflix. They're going to give up on the project because it's losing too much money. Disney already missed today. I mean, really, what they need to do is get into money-making projects, not trying to be Netflix and at a discount, right? I mean, a discounted Netflix. You already got Netflix out there. You got Hulu. Amazon has its, what is it? Amazon Prime. There's just a lot of competition out there. It's very much so like you remember with Apple Music and all that when Jay-Z, I forget what his streaming thing was, but Jay-Z's got a lot of money and he's got a lot of business acumen. He's a very good businessman and he's got a lot of capital to play with. And he couldn't take out that sector. And this is basically what Disney's doing with Netflix. It's a death trap. Good luck with that. Uh, South Carolina slaps a 500 million price tag on Amazon sales tax over 5 years. Guess what? Jeff Bezos can probably give you that out of his pocket. I wouldn't worry about that. Nordstrom shares drop same store sales tomorrow morning before the bell. We've got JCPenney reporting. JCPenney's at a very critical point right now. Solvency is at stake. Bankruptcy is on the horizon if they don't start turning this around. Um, Trading at the lowest in its history. I think it was at 270 something today. Can you imagine that? JC Penney's at $2 a share. Uh, Here's your news about the corporate tax delay. News Corp did good. News Corp is having some struggles previously, and it looks like it's shaking some of that off. Maybe some cost cutting and stuff. Fallout from the Disney earnings. ESPN will lay off 100 staffers after Thanksgiving. Isn't that heartbreaking? I mean, they're going to let you work through Thanksgiving and they're going to cut your paycheck before Christmas. Come on, Disney and ESPN. Couldn't you keep them at least through freaking New Year's? Jesus Christ. Anyways, shareholders love this stuff because, it cost cutting. It's good for the bottom line and all that. But really, I mean, let's show a little heart. I'll be the first one to tell you that ESPN is a mess. It's nothing like it used to be. It's responsible for its own problems. With ESPN, they need to look in the mirror if they want to see what's wrong. But Christmas job cutting. Come on, man. And especially right after Thanksgiving. That's just a little heartless. Hertz, man, rent-a-cars did good. They're up about 1%. Nvidia, that's the earnings we were talking about. Nvidia actually plays into the cryptos too. There's some kind of connection. I forget what it is, but I believe it's the server hardware or whatever it is. But they've got some kind of connection to crypto. So that's a good beat. We're long Cisco, like we told you. So hopefully this will kind of give a little uh, kick in the butt to that arena. Retailers charging the same prices across the U.S., boosting income inequality. That's an interesting story. You think about it. I mean, if should a Walmart in the middle of an economically depressed area sell, I don't know, a box of diapers at the same price that they sell it in another area? And there's a lot of things that play into retail pricing. Supply chain. It's just like for a restaurant, right? Some restaurants, in certain parts of the country, maybe they get tomatoes real cheap. There's a lot of farms around and stuff. Maybe in another part of the country, it's tomatoes are super expensive. So you order a marinara here, it's $5. You order a marinara same dish here, it's $15, right? The costs are different. So there's a lot of stuff that could play into that. But the research shows that it is boosting income inequality, and that should be addressed. Average Americans left holding empty bag in tax reform proposals. Come on, ESPN. Let's do a little better than that. We don't even know what the tax plan is yet. That's the issue I have with this. When Trump was in Hawaii and stuff, I wore my Trump shirt and stuff, so everybody kind of thinks I'm a homer and stuff. But really, I'm an independent, like I always say. And what I just want is some parity, some fairness. You know what I mean? And for all Americans to do well. It doesn't serve me or my family or my friends to hope that Trump does badly. Because if he does badly, America does badly, and we're the Americans, so we're going to do badly too. So let's kind of root him on, especially on this tax reform thing. Let's put some money into everybody's pockets. This is the big news on the you could say the extension of the Harvey Weinstein thing, right? I mean, this thing is just taking on a life of its own. There's a big accusation about Louis C.K. Netflix canceled House of Cards. I mean, that's their number one show, right? That's their big one. That's the one that blew up their subscriber base, and they canceled it over the Kevin Spacey accusations. And now Roy Moore is supposedly had sex a couple decades ago with a 14-year-old girl, which is a no-no. Anyways, government never tried to force. There's another, where's the straight story? Yesterday, the headline in CNN was the government was forcing them to sell CNN. Today, they're saying that it wasn't. So, I mean, did we just make up the news or what? You know what I mean? What is the story? Did we verify sources and things like that? That's where people get irritated with the media. One day you're telling us they're making them sell CNN. The next day they're saying no, they never did that. So I don't know what to say about that. Anyway, so the DOJ, God bless them, they're getting some money back for the Bernie Madoff victims. Let's all hope that helps these people. So, and then the crucial mindset, Jeff Bezos says you have to have if you want to be successful. Be positive, stay positive. So there's not much else happening. There's a little blockchain news. World capital of blockchain is now rising in the Middle East. I'm not sure uh, how that plays out, but look, Mark Cuban says Amazon and Netflix are still his top holdings. He's a very good investor, very shrewd investor. This plays into that news of Disney. Do you really want to own Disney stock if they're going to try and compete with Netflix? I mean, seriously, come on. They've got this crap product, ESPN, which is just imploding. They're just letting people off at Thanksgiving. It's so bad. It's bleeding money. They missed on earnings. And then now you're going to throw a whole bunch of capital at Netflix. Ouch. So gold, we talked about gold. It's had a nice trickle up during the week. Bitcoin, be a little cautious because it looks like it's making down levels. If you spread this chart to 7 days, you can kind of see it. This is the fork yesterday, the news of the fork. Anticipation blew up, got as high as 7,900. Fork didn't happen. Look at that crash and made a new level here. And then now it's made a new level. Where's the next level? Is it going to recover or is it going to bounce back up? So since it's kind of a short show today and I don't have any questions or anything like that, I thought I'd just do a couple tweets that I saw on the internet, twitchy.com. First one is this guy, Michael Ian Black. Look, remember we were talking about it a few days ago, the blue check on Twitter. You know what I mean? How this blue check makes these journalists and stuff feel like they are entitled. I mean, they're anointed by Twitter. They are the smartest, they're the best, they're the most important opinions. And I'd actually had a couple people tell me, do you really think that? And I said, absolutely. You can see the tone of the text that when they have blue checks, it's almost like they're talking down to children and stuff. And here, this proves it. So I guess Twitter gave a blue check to a white supremacist group or a white supremacist person or something. And look, we don't want white supremacy out there and stuff. We want to eradicate that stuff. But this guy kind of took it a little personally, man. He's like, he was a verifying white supremacist reinforces the increasing belief that your site is a platform for hate speech. Well, that blue check, all it means is your identity and your voice has been authenticated. This, whatever name it is here, is really you. Okay, and that's all it does. But so Twitter support put out a little statement, stating just that, but it's interpreted as an endorsement or an indicator of importance. Man, I couldn't have hit it on the head more. But this is what I'm talking about. Anytime you see these blue checks and stuff, man, it's like they're just so holier than thou and stuff. So that was one of them. The other one was actually about Roy Moore. So I guess this guy came out and he made this tweet about Roy Moore. Roy Moore married a woman 14 years younger, and they have a blessed marriage 33 years later. Problem with this is, look, there's a big difference between marrying a girl that's 14 years younger than you and having sex with a girl that's 14 years old, okay? Let's don't justify, all right? Anyway, so that covers everything for today. Don't forget, next week we're going to be getting into Bitcoin, so you're going to want to watch the show. We'll start previewing it tomorrow with the Friday show. We hope you guys are having a great Thursday afternoon. There's football tonight. If you want to help support ESPN, I don't know, is that an ESPN game or is that a network game? It might be a network game because it's Thursday night, but if you watch football, you help ESPN. So I don't know. Anyways, you guys have a great afternoon. It's a beautiful, beautiful afternoon in Honolulu. So we're gonna go out and enjoy the afternoon rather than staying locked up watching football. And we recommend you do the same. You guys trade cautious. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon after the market closes for our Friday weekend wrap. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, please share it, please like it, please pass it on. On Twitter, we're at /financial reboot. We're on Facebook, we are /financial reboot. Or I'm sorry, on YouTube, we are flash /financial reboot. On Facebook, we are /financial reboot. And on Twitter, we are at reboot team. All right. All right. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Aloha.